Right, so Machete Kills. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's actually a lot better than the first one. I mean, after the sort of dreadfulness of the first one, you think, oh god, it's going to get worse, but that's not the case. I think it's actually a lot better. I think everything that the first one never accomplished is in this sequel. Like the lines of dialogue that he's supposed to say, like the one-liners, it never really worked that well in the first one. It never sort of made it what it should have been. But in here, they're so much better, and the action scenes are more they're more entertaining, and it's less cringeworthy, and it doesn't sort of make you just go out of it. I mean, I think the first one, really the problem was that you had all these people who were cameoing sort of around the mess of the film, and it never really worked. And then you obviously had Robert De Niro, and this really bad bad actor who's supposed to be his bodyguard, and it never really worked. And from the whole of that film, I watched from beginning to end, and I just didn't enjoy any of it. But for this one, I quite enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's amazing because that's not going to happen because it's not supposed to be taken seriously. But for what it is, it's quite entertaining. It passes the time along. I mean, yes, there are some negatives which I will get into. I think it's demonstrated. It's done so many better things than the first one ever did. But I will say that there are some negatives, which I'll get into right now. I don't like that there are those sort of gang of women. They're basically replicating the same plot point of From Dusk Till Dawn, of the women who just go to kill men, which is the same plot point because obviously the vampire strippers all kill men in From Dusk Till Dawn. So that felt a little bit rehashed and copied and paste kind of thing. Um, I didn't like that he used the crotch gun. Now, obviously, I know it was a bit of a, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Oh, we got the boob minigun thing, which is quite funny because he hasn't done that before. Um, but the whole thing of having the crotch gun again was just a bit, oh, come on. But now you put it on a woman, so now it's a vagina gun kind of thing. And so that was a little bit, oh, really? You just went there? Really? Just because that was like 20 years ago for Dust Till Dawn, and now you're doing this again? So that wasn't good. Another thing that wasn't that great was some of the lines of dialogue were a little bit weak. And I don't mean just like not great, some of them were a bit, oh, like roll your eyes a little bit. Um, and for me, Lady Gaga was so bad. I mean, I can't stand the woman anyway. I think she's just so annoying and dresses in awful fashion and just so incredibly just want to smack her in the face and just shut up, go away. But this whole disguise after disguise after disguise thing is just pointless. I didn't put this in my written reviews. It might sound like I'm bashing out just loads of negatives as it goes along, but that was stupid. And given the point of the film is supposed to be incredibly silly and over the top anyway, that just felt a bit out of place. It's like, okay, you pushed it too far now. So, you know, put aside all of those things that I thought were a bit not really very good. I think the film is fine. I think it's entertaining. I think Danny Trejo's a lot better in his role than he was in the first one. I think it's just better in terms of an actual whole film. I think it's not going to have obviously great dialogue because you know the kind of film it is. But like I say, there were some things a little bit okay. That wasn't really the best line, but the action scenes are more fun to watch. Like I say, I think he has better one-liners. I think it's funny that they're poking fun at America and stuff like that. And that was never really tapped into in the first one. And so they've done that, which is an extra thing they never did in the first one, which is better. And I've never really been a massive fan of Robert Rodriguez films, but they're still quite fun to watch. I mean, like Desperado, it's fun to watch. It's incredibly silly, but it's quite fun. And like stuff like From Dusk Till Dawn, it's silly, but it's still fun. And I still think that stands as the landmark. That is his best film. It's decent. It's still really silly, but it's still fun. Um, but I also think that there have been some films that haven't been so great of his, obviously. And I mean, by great, I'm sort of giving faint praise that they're terrible. Like obviously Planet Terror was terrible, and then obviously Machete One was terrible, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico was terrible. Um, Sin City was alright. I think it was more of a serious film than everything else he's ever done in his entire career. But I still don't think he compares to Tarantino because Tarantino films are taken more seriously. Because I think the thing with him is he has this whole thing that his films should be taken seriously, and he maybe probably has a bit of an ego, but they're not serious. They're just fun to watch, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think if you go with that mindset, you will enjoy it.